Okay, I also now want to bring in a special guest named Melanie, withholding her last name for security purposes. She is a resident in this exact vicinity, right where Gonzalo Lopez escaped and right where that manhunt began and right where that manhunt was narrowed. Melanie, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Melanie, can you tell me what you know about what's happening in your neighborhood right now?
They reached out to us. We got to know some of the TDCJ workers, and one of them had reached out to me saying he was coming back to the area. They were calling everyone back in because they had just received confirmed DNA in one of the homes that he had broke into for supplies, and that was proof that he was still in our area. And then the next thing I know, I get a call from a neighbor and friend who told me that she had just found out that 5 people were murdered in a house that's only a couple of miles from where I live.
That is just chilling. Melanie, and can you give me an approximation of how far that murder scene is, that house, from the place where the bus crashed and where Gonzalo Lopez escaped?
It's probably maybe a mile, if that. It's not too far at all. But I also
so is it thought, Melanie, that these murders happened right away? I mean, what is the time reference on when this family may have been killed?
Well, the family, it was a weekend home. There's a lot of weekend homes and like deer camps here. And that was a weekend home, and they had evidently just come up for the weekend. So it happened. We happened to know some mutual friends that know them very well that said that they only went missing a couple of days ago.
So this is all within the last few days that this family may have been murdered. Melanie, you live right in this area, right in this 5-mile perimeter where they said they had narrowed the search for Gonzalo Lopez after he stabbed the prison bus driver in the chest, fought with him, and took the prison bus. I don't know if you heard my conversation with Brian Enton and Dan Abrams earlier, but we begged and begged the local authorities to come on television to spread the word that there's a lethal, deadly man on the run and a deadly manhunt, because this guy would kill anything in his path to stay free. Did you get notification? Did anybody knock on your door and say, be careful, bar your door, maybe don't even stay here?
Well, when it first started, they had blocked Highway 7 where it was hard to even drive down the road to get home. And they had guards, every 100 feet. And, as each day went by, there was less people, standing guard and keeping the barrier secure. And then next thing you know, they disappear completely. They have said they were going to relocate the headquarters for the search area, and he could possibly be anywhere in Texas. I would say, even including myself, began to believe that this man had left Leon County and that he was somewhere else in Texas, if not Mexico, by now. And they were not there were no more briefings, not only for y'all, but no law enforcement were really giving us any details as to any updates regarding the search whatsoever. We all began to let our guard down, all of us.
Melanie, you gave me chills by saying that you let your guard down because the police didn't, pass on the information to you that you needed to be vigilant, that you needed to be careful, that you needed to understand he was out there somewhere. Can you tell me about this report that he may have been spotted on deer cams in your particular area?
Yeah, I believe they said he was wearing camouflage. We have a pool, and we've been out in the backyard swimming, and it literally terrifies me to know that man could have been standing in my backyard in the woods, camouflaged, and I would never even know it. Even these guards that are here, driving up and down the road, the few that are here, you know, they would have probably never even noticed him. He's got camouflage on. He's blending in with his surroundings.
But what about those thousands of officers that were looking for him, and the canine and the horse units and the heat-seeking devices that were flying on drones? Have you seen any evidence of that? I mean, we saw the pictures when it happened 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Has there been any evidence like that? Because he's still out there.
Yeah, TDCJ, no, I've not seen TDCJ hardly at all. There have been few random vehicles driving up and down the roads, but as far as the barriers, checking vehicles as they go in and out, making sure that he's not, he has not left the area. My first thought was when they said they were not going to be giving any more briefings and they were expanding the search, my first thought was, well, what evidence do you have to go on, that proves that he's not here? What proof do you have to give me reassurance that my kid can stay by himself at home, or that I don't have to keep carrying my weapon in and out of the house? You've left it up to me to make the decision based on what? Because they weren't giving us
based on no information. This is what makes me so frustrated, because I'm telling you, Melanie, we tried to get the message out on national television, and Casey ended up in border states as well. We tried, and we could not get the authorities to come on camera and update the search and continue getting the message out. And now what you're telling me is it was left up to you and your own safety with zero knowledge. And who knows if this family, as you said, it was a weekend home, who knows if this family was ever notified that there is a deadly escaped inmate who has not been found and will kill in order to maintain his freedom. Did they post anything on anyone's doors? Did they notify your neighbors, about security measures at any time in this entire manhunt?
No. I even asked them, are they searching all of the empty deer camps and the weekend homes? Are they going in there? Because nobody's, it could go weeks or months before anybody's in those places. It was very easy for him to find a place, that there wasn't someone living in, for him to hide out and do that, which obviously is what he did. But I'm angry. I am angry at TDCJ for leaving us vulnerable and their negligence for allowing this man to escape.
I think there's a lot of anger that should go around because he was able to escape with a prison bus that was not only caged in the middle and had a guard in the back with a long arm and a driver who was armed with a sidearm. And this guy's able to get on that bus with a shank, get out of his cuffs somehow, cut a hole in the divider in the front, climb into the driver's compartment, stab that driver in the chest with the shank, and then cause a full-on fight outside of the bus. When the driver was able to get, out of the bus, the back doors opened up. You can see them open in that picture where the back guard was stationed, and he came out with his long arm, wasn't able to shoot because they were rolling around on the ground, but thought to shoot out the tires of the bus at least, so that even if Gonzalo Lopez got control of that bus, he wasn't going to get far. And there's the result right there. He didn't get far. So that was a great decision on his part. But how on earth did Gonzalo Lopez get back in that bus without being shot at by both of those guys? By both of them. They were both armed. Now, mind you, the driver at this point has been stabbed in the chest. Melanie, quick question for you. I'm also hearing reports that other homes have been broken into in your area. What do you know about that?
I heard he had been in a few other homes. They're just now discovering. Like I said, they're probably just now finding it out because these weekenders are coming up and just now finding it. So I don't know. Right now, he could be anywhere. I heard he was on the next county road. Somebody texted me a while ago and said he was on the next county road, which is the next road right next to us. So I don't know. It's living in total fear. And for 3 weeks to live in fight and flight mode is is stressful.
Melanie, even at this early stage, just within the last, few hours, we're learning about these 5 victims, this family of victims, 2 adults and 3 kids murdered in that home, not far from where your home is. Is there a plan of safety for you? Have the authorities rounded up you and all the neighbors who live in this community and told you what to do next and how to secure yourself and make sure your families are safe?
The only notice that we've really gotten is to look out for the vehicle and keep our doors locked. I'm just very thankful that we have gun rights where I'm not locked in this home without a way to protect myself. And hopefully, I would say most of the people that live out here, do have ways of protecting themselves. They do have guns. Most of them are hunters, but I can't imagine having to be locked up in my home without any way to protect myself if he were to try to enter.
And you have no idea. Do you know the people who were killed? Do you know that family that is in the neighborhood in that weekend home?
I don't personally know them. We have mutual friends.
What do you know about them?
I know the dad, one of the adults that was killed was an elderly man. And the place is beautiful. It has this huge, beautiful lake, one of the prettiest places in Leon County, and they do a lot of fishing. And it's just a real peaceful place here. This is not something we're used to dealing with or having to live this way. You're not prepared for something like this. And that family came up thinking they were going to enjoy a nice, peaceful weekend, probably fishing in that beautiful lake of theirs. And I don't know if he was there waiting. That's speculation, but God only knows what they went through.
Melanie, I can't imagine for a moment that picture on our screen of that inmate wasn't plastered over the doors of every home in that area to warn people that this is out there. Maybe this isn't the best place to spend the weekend. Certainly not the best place to bring children right now. There is a deadly escaped inmate who is on the prowl and needs supplies. And right now, the only people who can supply him are innocent victims. Do you have any idea if this was an elderly couple with grandchildren?
Yes, that's what, yeah.
What have you heard?
That's all I know is that they were elderly, and I don't know how old the kids were, if they were teenagers, but I just...
Melanie, do you know if they were... Do you know if the parents have been notified? Do you know where the parents live?
We did speak to some family members, but they weren't even really notified. All they knew is that they couldn't get a hold of them.
You spoke to some of the family members?
Yes.
And they were trying to get a hold.
We helped them get in contact with the local law enforcement to try to get more information because they didn't even know.
Was it the parents that you spoke with?
I believe it was the older man was his father, and those were his nephews.
And they reached out to you. They had not been notified by the authorities of this.
No, not at that point in time, no.
It was you who got the authorities to go and check that home because there was a concern the family hadn't heard from them?
I think there was another family member or something that had gotten a hold of some local law enforcement to say, hey, we haven't heard from them in a while. Can you go check on them? Because I think they may have been from like Houston or something, but one of the other family members is who we got a hold of that still had not heard back from them. And when we talked to them, they were very upset and they didn't know who to contact. And so we put them in contact with some of our local law enforcement friends that we know to try to help them out and get the information.
Melanie, what are you going to do with your family? Where are you going to stay? Are you going to stay in your home? And if so, how? How are you going to stay safe?
We are going to stay here. Luckily, we have dogs that will probably alert us if something strange is going on outside. We do have night vision binoculars, and their night vision's also mounted on our rifles. So, you know, we have things because we are hunters. We have ways of defending ourselves, you know, more than probably the average person. But it's a horrible way to have to live.
And it's unconscionable that you just haven't been notified about anything. And maybe these other people, this family of 5 that was killed, had no idea either. And that's just maddening. And I can only wonder if he's broken into a number of homes in the area, that he may have also been able to steal the weapons that many of those people who live in this rural area would have for self-defense, living in a rural area. And he may now be in possession, you know, of those weapons. And we can only imagine that that's what he would do. Melanie, please keep your family safe. Please keep us updated and let us know what happens. This is just terrible news. I'm just very thankful that you were there to give us the details and help us sort through this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.